Hey everyone! So today I'm here to review the newest palette from Urban Decay, the Naked2 Basics. It retails for $29 US, $35 in Canada, and all smushed together in one pan it is 0.3 ounces. It is said to be a versatile matte eyeshadow palette with 6 shades in taupe hued neutrals. Skimp is described as a pale nude satin, Stark is described as a nude pink matte, Frisk is described as a warm gray matte, Cover is described as a muted red-brown matte, Primal is described as a muted brown matte, and Undone is described as a deep smoky brown matte. The packaging is the exact same as the original Naked Basics palette. The only difference is that the palette is a slightly different color and the lettering is a little lighter. The compact features a mirror and has a rubberized texture to it. Overall in size, the compact is small, slim, and travel friendly. It's the perfect size to just throw in your makeup bag for all day touch-up. Skimp is a pale peach beige with a satin finish and neutral undertones. The texture was soft, smooth, and blended easily. This shade was slightly thinner and more powdery than your typical Urban Decay shadow would be. Skimp had decent color payoff and lasted 7 hours before fading slightly. Stark is a neutral peach beige with a matte finish and subtle warm undertones. The texture was soft, smooth, blended easily, but it was a little powdery on the skin. Stark had good color payoff and lasted 7 hours before slightly fading. Frisk is a medium taupe with a matte finish and subtle warm undertones. The texture was soft, smooth, and blended easily. This shade was rather powdery on the skin, which caused the shadow to appear less pigmented once applied. Frisk lasted 6.5 hours before fading slightly. Cover is a medium to dark taupe with a matte finish and subtle warm undertones. The texture was soft, smooth, buttery, and blended easily on the skin. Cover had fantastic color payoff and lasted 8 hours before slightly fading. Primal is a neutral medium brown with a matte finish and subtle warm undertones. The texture was soft, smooth, blended easily, but it was a little powdery on the skin. Primal had good color payoff and lasted 7 hours before fading slightly. Undone is a dark brown with a matte finish and subtle cool undertones. The texture was soft, smooth, but more difficult to blend on the skin as well as into the other shadows. This shade was rather powdery, which caused the shadow to look less pigmented once applied. Undone lasted 7 hours before fading slightly. Overall, the performance and quality of the shadows are good. They're soft, they're smooth, and for the most part they are pigmented. So in a whole, the Naked2 Basics is a great palette. It's just not what you'd typically expect from Urban Decay. The shadows are missing that ultra buttery, fine texture that you'd normally get from Urban Decay shadows. Although some of the shades are a little bit powdery, they don't look that way once applied to the skin. It's mostly that you have loose product sitting on top of the pan. I would definitely recommend pairing these eyeshadows with an eyeshadow primer just to improve the color payoff and help the shadows adhere to the skin a little better. As most of you know, I'm a huge fan of the original Naked Basics palette, and while this one isn't as good, I'm still a fan of the Naked2 Basics, and I will be reaching for it when I want to create a simple basic look. And you can for sure bet that it will be traveling with me the next time I go somewhere. They're such a convenient palette to have. On to the quick comparison with the Naked2 Basics and the original Naked Basics palette. The Naked2 Basics does lean more cool toned when compared to the original Naked Basics palette. The original Naked Basics eyeshadow texture is more consistent and applies a little better. The original Naked Basics palette is what you'd more so expect from Urban Decay eyeshadows. They have a soft, smooth, fine, buttery feel to them, and they blend easily on the skin as well as together. The Naked2 Basics eyeshadow texture is similar but a tad powdery in the pan. They're a little trickier to blend and they're missing that beautiful buttery texture. Both palettes are convenient, travel friendly, and they perform great. It's really just deciding which range of shadows are going to work best for you. And really quickly, I want to mention something that I noticed the other day. For all of you ordering within Canada, Sephora currently has the Naked2 Basics palette listed for $35, but the original Naked Basics palette is only listed for $34. So you are paying an extra $1 for the new palette. I don't know why that is, it's a little weird, but just a heads up. And please note that both Basics palettes are listed for $29 US, so there's no price difference if you're in the States. Just a heads up, I found that to be a little weird. So be sure to let me know in the comments below if you're picking up the new palette, if it interests you, if you've tried the original Naked Basics palette, just what your thoughts are on the Naked Basics palettes, plural. As always, don't forget to check out my blog for more details, photos, and swatches, as well as like, comment, and subscribe to show your support. As I always say, I hope you found this review / comparison helpful, and I hope that you have a fantastic day, and thank you so much for watching.
As you drink Pepsi off having a soda, I want to be promoting extra brands.